back to another video on the channel, and in today's video we're going to be going through the highest attendances for each AFL stadium in their history. Today we'll be going through all 17 active AFL stadiums that are used today. If you guys do go on to enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe down below if you are new. Let's try and get 5k by the end of the year, so if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. Without further ado, we'll get straight into the video. So we're going to be starting it off with the Adelaide Oval, and well, they hit their peak attendance with a total amount of 54,468 people in attendance, and this was in round 16 of the 2015 season where the Adelaide Showdown did take place. It was an absolute river game to say the least, and 2015, that is just like some prime footy. You would really just want to go back to those days if you had the choice to. Adelaide led by 15 at quarter time, 17 at half time, 30 at 3/4 time, and then just held on in the end to win it by a 3-point margin. Sunday evening footy really just doesn't get better than this. The high scoring affair, 113 to 116, and the Crows took it home with a 3-point win in front of 54,500. Moving on now to Blundstone Arena, they've had a peak attendance of 17,844. This did take place in round 11 of the 2016 Premiership season, where North Melbourne took place to face the Tigers. The Kangaroos ended up getting it done by a whopping 70-point margin and just really didn't have any sign of losing ever since quarter time. It was a Friday night game, and let's be honest, a pretty boring Friday night clash, but still the highest attendance in Blundstone Arena's history. Moving on to Metricon Stadium, we saw a peak attendance of 24,032 people attending the Gold Coast versus Collingwood clash in 2014, round 16. Once again, if you had a choice to either stay with footy now or head back to 2014, mate, you are going to 2014 in a heartbeat. It was just such a good year. The Suns ended up getting it done by 5 points in a clawing victory in the end after trailing at quarter time and also half time by over 10 points. And Gold Coast featuring yet again another stadium high in attendance, which is a bit odd to think about. It was Kazali Stadium holding their maximum amount of attendance being 11,197, where they took on the Richmond Tigers in 2013, round 16. The Suns led by 2 goals at quarter time, but then trailed by 6 at half time, 7 at 3/4 time, and ended up dropping it by 9 points in a slow, low-scoring, scrappy, boring affair. Marvel Stadium saw their peak attendance occur in 2009, 3:10 PM start, round 14, St Kilda and Geelong. The Saints led for the entirety of the day and were able to claw it home for a 6-point victory in a pretty high-scoring, entertaining game of footy. With just under 54,500 in attendance, the Saints fans certainly would have been keen to get down to Marvel Stadium, or Docklands as it was back then, for a 3:10 PM start on a Sunday arvo. A quite recent one in memory, we have the Western Bulldogs taking on the Adelaide Crows, which was Mars Stadium's highest crowd attendance. Round 6 of this year, we saw them take place and Adelaide getting it done in a 1-point thriller in probably one of the games of the season. It was a pretty underrated game of footy, like really back and forth, low scoring, however, yeah, just a brilliant game that you probably would go to if you had the chance to go. It was a 1:45 PM start on the Saturday and had a crowd attendance of 10,412 spectators in Ballarat. In the second qualifying final in 2019, we saw the Gabba hold their highest attendance in 37,478 people spectating the Saturday night clash between the Lions and the Tigers, and the Tigers ended up getting it done really convincingly in the end, 47-point winners to move on into the preliminary final in season 2019. And we're going way back for this one. We saw, well, Kardinia Park's highest attendance rate in 1952, Saturday arvo footy, a crowd of 49,107 in attendance to witness Geelong and Carlton, and not even a good game. Carlton 3-14-32 to Geelong 10-17-77. So the Cats ended up getting it done by 45 points in a boring slaughterhouse down at Kardinia Park. However, still pulled in the highest attendance in Kardinia Park's history with 49,107 people. Now on to obviously the biggest stadium in Australia. We are heading down to the G, the home of football, in Melbourne, where we saw it take place in 1970, so ranging quite far back, 52 years ago, with a crowd of 121,696 You think, I remember I was working at a game, 70,000 people. It was Melbourne Collingwood Friday night footy a few months ago, and that was bloody loud. Imagine 121,500 over that coming into the G and packing the house. And the funny thing is, it was the grand final in 1970. The Pies led by 29 at quarter time, led by 44 at half time, led by 17 at 3/4 time, and the Blues, a miracle, ended up getting it done by 10 points in the end, scraping it home. Manuka Oval, whatever you want to pronounce it, had a total highest amount attendance of 14,974, and the GWS Giants ended up defeating Richmond by 88 points in 2016. Round 19 2016, GWS up by 50 points at quarter time, 51-1, at half time 71-8, 3/4 time 85-22, and full time scores 111-23. TIO Stadium saw a bit of a strange clash to have their highest attendance. We saw Essendon take on the Western Bulldogs in 1999, 6 p.m. start on a Saturday. It was the opening round, and we saw a crowd of 14,211 people rock up to see the Bulldogs defeat the Bombers by 28 points in, once again, the opening round in the 1999 season. What a strange clash. And one of the recent games in memory, we saw the 2021 AFL Grand Final take place as Optus Stadium's highest ever game in attendance, with a whopping 61,118 people attend. Obviously, with the COVID affected season, we had to play the Grand Final away from the home of football down in Melbourne at the MCG. We had to travel it over to Perth to Optus Stadium, where we saw an absolute belter by the Melbourne Demons, and well, what a flag to win. It was their year, and they showed no sign of stopping. I knew they were going to win. They were never in doubt. I said before the game, I know the D's are going to win. It's just a matter of fact how big they win by. Anyway, a whopping 61 and a bit thousand in attendance for a COVID affected season. That is absolutely class. Moving on to the SCG, which I thought probably maybe would have had a bit of a higher attendance than what is actually here. 46,323 people in attendance to watch the Sydney versus Essendon clash, second elimination final in season 2017. The Swans ended up getting it done comfortably by 65 points in the end with an absolute belter. The Bombers stood no chance, and at Sydney's home ground, they were just dominant from the get-go. ANZ Stadium saw their peak of attendance in 2003, the round 21 clash between the Swans and the Pies. The Pies were never down in this clash. They ended up getting it done full-time margin of 18 points. A massive crowd of 72,393 people in attendance for this round 21 clash. One of the newer and most recent stadiums, we saw the Sydney Showdown take place for Giants Stadium's most attendance in a game. Round 17 2017, we saw the Sydney Swans defeat the GWS Giants by 13 points in a high-scoring, real entertaining clash of football. Saturday night footy, pulling in a crowd of 21,924. TIO Traeger Park saw the Eagles get it done by 13 points against Melbourne in 2019. TIO Traeger Park pulled in a attendance of 7,164 in the round 18 clash. And last but not least, we have University of Tasmania Stadium down in Launceston, the Hawthorns' second home ground, pulled in attendance of 20,971 in 2006 on a Sunday afternoon clash between the Hawks and the Tigers. Hawthorn ended up getting it done easily by a whopping 41-point margin. That's going to be it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel down below. As I said at the start, we're trying to get to 5k by the end of the year, so if you haven't subscribed, make sure to help out the channel. It will help out a lot if you do subscribe. We aren't that far away, so just going to keep on pumping out the content until we get there. Cheers guys for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.